to start asking a couple of questions for you. So, who in this room thinks that the standards are a good thing for them? Wow. I ignore I have so many friends in that room. So now the difficult second and last question is, who before that session knew something about Nexo standards? I brief you, okay? So, and thanks, Fabrice. So it seems that it will be beneficial for people to be introduced to Nexo standards, but I don't want to talk about the standards because people, they say, oh, this is the boring thing. So I will say something that is quite hitting the people is China is today the country that we know, so we get everything from China because they are standards. And which standards are these? Is one simple thing is a box, a metal box, a container that enable China to export all these goods everywhere in the world for so cheap. So you have these boxes with the same size, with these pickup points. You can go to any dock and load on trains, on trucks, on ships, and transport is becoming so cheap that it's not anymore relevant. So imagine the world without that box, okay? Imagine, it's so easy to understand the world as per today because we have this global trade, okay? So this is a good example of how standards change our daily lives. So on a smaller scale, I wanted to use the typical newspaper approach of explaining what Nexo does, and I use the 5W approach, okay? The last one is why, and is the next slide. So who we are basically a non-for-profit association, very open. We welcome everyone in the payment industry. And we standardize a very specific part of all the payment chain, that is the payment acceptance. So from the cardholder to the moment that the transaction is acquired by the merchant bank, okay? We have been doing that since 2014, so we are still 9 years old, look at me. And we are headquartered in Brussels, but this is not really important. What is important is that 80% of the members today, they are coming from the SEPA region because this is where we were born, okay? So how we do it? We adhere to ISO 20022 standards. We are submitting organization to that standardization body, okay? So in terms of what we try to do, what animates us every morning when we wake up is we try to simplify how payment acceptance is implemented everywhere. So it makes Nexo standards global, okay? And when I explain that, they say, there's a lot of people, they say, okay, if there is only one single standard, that is the ISO 20022, and we follow that standard, everyone will be equal. And it's not true. How we can differentiate using a standard that is basically a rail? What we are providing is, if we think about trains, we are delivering the rails where the trains are going. So imagine that every time that you need to move from here to Paris, you need to build that rail. And this is what happens today, because we did a study, and on the previous standard, on the 8583 from ISO, there is over 1,000 flavors of that standard. So it's not anymore a standard. We need one single standard. So it's 1,000 different tracks, and every time that you need to send your train is not that wide, it's not that high. It's a mess, okay? But there is only one single ISO 20022 today in the world. That's the difference. So pick that rail that is free for you to use. Don't compete on creating new rails every time between Berlin and Paris, and differentiate on something else. So your train can be a high-speed train, point-to-point, stopping in every station, first class, second class, premium, good food, very cheap, very expensive, red, green, blue. Differentiate on that. This is service, this is information, okay? So the community that is part of Nexo, there is 98 members. I will show the list, it's quite impressive. We define, publish, and promote the uses of these standards. And by doing so, we don't make any money. We are not for profit. So inside Nexo, there is all the payment players. So you have the processors, you have the PSPs. Most of the association is composed by vendors because they are so interested in using the standards and promoting that to merchants. And this is what we are today. We are at the MPE, M for merchants, okay? But we don't work in the vacuum. We are this unique association where we have all the payment stakeholders, but we work in collaboration with the ISO, that is the standard of the standards, and we also work in collaboration with the European Union through the APC and with some other entities, and you see the logos over there. For us, standardization means two things, but basically one. Interoperability is a word that I can never pronounce rightly in English, but basically is putting everyone in a position that they can be easily interoperable, okay, on all this payment chain. So I put that diagram. That is, I'm sorry for that, a little bit boring, but it's necessary because we deliver a set of protocols that standardize everything that happens in store for the sake of keeping that very simple. It's also promoted on the e-commerce, but here I show the in-store part. It's the Nexo retailer. Then there is when the transaction is sent from the Nexo payment application, is called Nexo Fast, also standardized to the bank, is the Nexo Acquire protocol, again, an ISO 20022. And there is two other protocols, the TMS to update the payment devices, and the Nexo ATM because we can drive the ATMs through Nexo, okay? So basically, this is the people, they say, okay, but this is PowerPoint. It's very nice, it's free. You can go to the Nexo website and download the protocols and the specifications for free. So it's too true to be, it's unbelievable. How was not, you know, I discovered Nexo today is magic, but it's a PowerPoint, right? No, it's not a PowerPoint. It's a reality. We do an annual survey from our members, and these are the projects that you see all over the world. I put in italics the countries that they are in Europe and in bold Germany because we are here. But we are over 25 countries where this is a reality. The Nexo is used today. So there is over 5 billion transactions every single year that they are powered by this standard, by Nexo standard, that is ISO 20022. Okay? But this is only what we know. So there is not only Europe, there is US, there is Australia, there is Canada, Brazil, South Africa. This is where we know from our members that Nexo projects are a reality. But we see from our website that the specifications and protocols, they are downloaded in over 50 countries. So that's huge. Over 3,000 times these specifications were downloaded only from our website. If you go to the ISO20022.org website and download the payment acceptance part, it's also Nexo, provided by Nexo. It's not counted there. So this is the list of our members. So you see the vast majority, they are vendors. Okay, it's the big part in red. And you will find many names that they are very familiar to you. But I wanted to underline, other than the well-known powerhouses that are Visa, MasterCard, Amex, or Discover, or Union Pay, or all the card schemes that you can think about. Your Kartensystem, sorry for my German. Carte bancaire is better pronounced. We have this big opportunity with some other big banks that you see on the green part of the PSP. So we have the likes of BNPP and so on. And this is something that I bring to you because you were so kind to come today. And it's a first because it's the first time that we are announcing in public. It's very fresh. It's from last Thursday. So I modified the presentation at the last minute. We have this small bank that is highlighted in yellow. You see there? JP Morgan. So that's the last member of Nexo joining last Thursday, and probably next week we will have some others. Okay? So we are at that tipping point where, you know, we have members all over the world, the big vendors that you know, the Pfizer, the FIS, the Worldline, and so on. and the ACI, all these guys are contributing to what we do. So it's a collaborative approach. I mean, these members, they allocate people, and they come and they build the standards that you can use on the field, okay? But what we need is to have more merchants, because we need to integrate their specific needs, their specific. And this is the value that we propose today for the merchants, okay? The first one is evolve or dinosaur, go the dinosaur way. Because if you don't innovate, if you don't serve your customers and provide a good customer experience, you will go the way of the dinosaurs, okay? You will be hit. It happened 65 million years ago, but it may happen to you, okay? But this is not, frightening people with the asteroid is not the good way, so they know that they need to evolve. But what is attracting the C-level is, okay, how much is costing me? So by using a standard, any standard, in this case for payments, you lower your payment acceptance cost. That is not, it should not be something that you pay for operation. It's not something that it has been there for years and years, but you can bring this cost down because you use that single solution everywhere in the world. And this is the third point. The standards on the thousands of pages on specifications, protocols, and everything else, there is not a single mention of the word border or country. It does not exist on the standard. So by implementing Nexo, you become by default global. And this is what Subway is using. Subway is using the same solution all over the world and is saving $7 million a year by using that solution, provided by and supported and helped by some other Nexo members like Amadis. So you see how the ecosystem is working on. So these economies are real. We build that use case with them. These are their numbers, okay? So the only thing I can do is, again, to be a little bit active, raising your hand, but this time with the mobile phone, to scan this QR code, this quick reaction code. I think QR means quick reaction or quick reactivity. Yela, you will correct me. But join us. Be part of this full ecosystem, and you can be the 100 member today. So behind that barcode, or that QR code, sorry, you have a guy with a VR quite similar to me. But this is the message. Come and help us to build the future. And with that, and in advance to my time, I just need to thank you all.